It's the Real Estate Podcast, brought to you by ANZ Home Loans for financial well-beings.
What the consumer wants to know is, do they like you? Can they trust you? Do they truly believe that you are a good human who's going to get them a great result? And if they do, and they can find you through your digital footprint, you've got a much greater opportunity of being successful.
Hey, welcome back to another Real Estate Breakfast. Yes, back again on a Thursday morning. And of course, we cover all of the key real estate markets, including Canberra and Hobart. And good morning to you if you are in one of those two cities, perhaps having breakfast or a nice coffee, relaxing as we continue talking about your property news every morning. Of course, that is 365 days a year, and you can hear us streamed on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon. Now, if you have started a new career in real estate this year, I think it's fair to say that since COVID, there has been a number of people that have transitioned into the property market. More than ever, there are also women working in the industry. Is that you? Have you made a career turn? Well, we'd love to hear from you, whether you're female or male. If you are a newbie that has decided 2025 is the year I'm going to make a go of it in real estate, let us know. We'll bring you into the podcast, get your thoughts and ideas. Our email address is myrealestatepodcast@gmail.com. And talking of women working in the real estate sector, we have right now got coming up Charlotte Pascoe, the CEO of Stockdale and Leggo in Victoria. And a very good morning to you, Charlotte. Great to have you on the Real Estate Breakfast this morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
First off, we've got to say happy birthday to your mum. Your mum's name is Wendy, and gee, Wendy, aren't you proud of your daughter, Charlotte? Hasn't she done well in real estate?
Thank you very much. Happy birthday, Mum.
Now, you're a CEO. It's a pretty commanding sort of a position being a CEO. And I note that you were made CEO back in 2020. Then in 2022, interestingly enough, you decided to actually buy it.
We did indeed. My business partner, Ben, and I loved what we were doing, saw such a huge amount of momentum building that we decided there's nothing to do but to invest ourselves.
You were telling me that it is just the two of you. There is no board. There are no other shareholders, God forbid. So you don't have to answer to anybody. People can relate if they are in a business operating with a board. Sometimes that board can be an absolute nightmare. It can cost you time, massive amounts of money. You just get on with it without any of that headache.
It's fantastic. It allows us to make changes quickly if we need to. The people that we see ourselves reporting to are the people within the organisation. So it gives us the flexibility and freedom. If we see that something needs to be done, we can just do it.
I note that we did say that you are in Victoria, but you also have an office, this is interesting, all the way up there in Queensland on the Sunshine Coast in Caloundra. How did that happen?
It's a beautiful spot up there. Yeah, we've got the Strouds up there who are an incredible family, and it's a beautiful business. There was a much stronger Stockdale Leggo presence in Queensland, but a number of years ago, and it was way before my time, I'm going to say around 15 years ago, Peter, the previous owner, decided to sell out the Queensland offices. It just wasn't the direction he wanted to take the business in. But these guys remain part of Stockdale Leggo, and we're very grateful for them.
Well, a big shout out to the team there in Caloundra. Yes, it is a lovely spot. You heard me talking just in the setup about people getting involved in the real estate industry for 2025. You field as a CEO, as somebody prior to becoming a CEO, you field all those questions from people saying, what is it really like working in the real estate industry? You know, can you make all this money that people talk about? How do you sort of curb some of that enthusiasm enthusiasm around the money with the reality. What do you sort of typically talk to people about when they make that inquiry to you?
I think real estate has incredible opportunities, but I think that there is a misconception about how quickly or potentially easily people can get to that top percentile of agents operating. The majority of agents, it takes them a lot longer than I think what they anticipate to get their momentum going. So you've got to learn the right habits. You've got to set yourself up correctly from the beginning if you're going into sales. And then you've got to build, a digital footprint. You've got to get to know the community. You've got to learn how to transact and negotiate. So there's quite a lead time. And the ones who do exceptionally well, I guess I don't want to say less common, but there are quite a few who don't quite get to where they think it's going to be. I think it looks quite glamorous from the outside. It's a bit harder than I think what it looks like for those coming in.
When it comes to sales, you can never, ever pick who is going to make a great salesperson. It's the most unlikeliest of person. Sometimes they come through and you go, wow, where did that come from? I did not see that coming.
Yeah, and I think the consumer has changed. I think that now what they really want is someone who's authentic, who they can find easily, but someone who they can really relate to and who can demonstrate how they're going to get a better result for them. So I think it went through a stage where it was all about digital, but I think it's really coming back to that necessity to have the balance of being able to interact with people, sit down around the table, the old school real estate supported by the new way of the digital technology there.
Yeah, that's a really nice way of actually talking about those two areas cross-pollinating with each other. And I would also say that if you're thinking about going into real estate, you really need to look at your social media because, as Charlotte just said, it's about being authentic. And if you're represented on your social media channels as maybe a little bit of chest beating, maybe look at me, look at me, look at me, it does not fly when people are looking at engaging a real estate agent. Not unless you are in the 1% where people just look at the absolute mass coverage that this person has, and almost by default, they might not like that person, but they sign up to that person anyway.
Yeah, I think that ego marketing is never really very popular. And I think as real estate agents, we like to talk about this is what we did, this is what we did. But ultimately, you've got to really understand the demographic that you're operating within. If you're in a community, let's say you're in a regional area, it doesn't go well in communities like that where they don't want to see that ego marketing. They want to know what you're doing with the local schools or how are you supporting the community. What the consumer wants to know is, do they like you? Can they trust you? Do they truly believe that you are a good human who's going to get them a great result? And if they do, and they can find you through your digital footprint, you've got a much greater opportunity of being successful. So I think when you're using social media or creating a digital footprint, you have to be true to who you are. If you try and be something else and you try and replicate what someone else is doing, you don't have a point of difference. So I think coming back to that authentic piece, which I'm very big on, authenticity is what's going to get you in the door and it's going to get you the deal because there's only one person who can be you around that dining room table when you're listing the home.
Yeah, it's so important. It's incredibly important. And you sort of see telltale signs with people when they're on video. They can be doing all sorts of things that you're watching it and you're going, hey, you're kind of showing off here. You're just not being real. And the problem is that nobody in today's world is going to say anything to that person because people are always highly offended. We live in the world of being, oh, you've just offended me. How bad of you to say such a thing. So the person that is acting in that way, it will never actually come to their attention. But people, when they're watching it, they'll go, oh, look at that guy or look at that girl. And I have to say, not that many girls. It's mainly the guys.
Well, it's interesting because you don't see a lawyer putting up a social media post going, right, I sued this person, I got this done. It's not how they market themselves. Accountants don't do it. None of the professional industries utilize that as the way to gain and grow business because no one wants to watch it. If I was watching a lawyer sitting there telling me all these things, I wouldn't really want to engage with it. We're meant to be part of the community. These are people who are selling their home, so it's personal. It's not just a business transaction for them. It's the biggest transaction they'll make. They want to feel like they actually connect with you. So instead of thinking about what you want to tell them, you have to think about what do they want to know about you to feel comfortable enough to engage you.
2025, Charlotte, that person that is still thinking about whether or not to go into the real estate industry this year, I would suggest, hey, 2025, we've got rate cuts coming up this year. Of course, it's a great time to go into real estate because the market is going to start to change and possibly change big time. We don't know exactly because we don't know how many of these rate cuts, but it will be a changing year.
I think you're right. I think it's definitely, I think there's two things, right? Real estate is cyclical. So there's always going to be good times, hard times, fantastic times and horrible times. It just comes through this cycle. And there are things you control and things you can't control. If anyone's thinking about getting into real estate, 100%, if you like working with people, if you love negotiating, if you've got an interest in technology, then it could be a fantastic career for somebody. You got to make sure you get into a company though, where there's mentoring and training and support, because when the market's great, it's a fantastic trajectory to get the lessons that you need because you start to get the momentum. You're seeing the great side because at some point it may become a little bit more challenging. And if you've set yourself up right in a good market, then everything is going to be much easier from that moment.
Yeah, I can tell that you probably nurture these newbies, coming into Stockdale and Leggo. You take them under your wing and you give them the best possible chance of succeeding because you don't want them to fail.
No, absolutely, because their failure is my failure, is how I look at it. We've actually got a new guy working with us who's just joined us a couple of weeks ago, and he's got on the phones yesterday for the first time, and he generated, I think it was 7 appraisals in one sitting, and we were all high-fiving, and I'm so proud of him because he's done extraordinarily well in his first opportunity, to get on the phones and start putting everything that he's learnt into practice. And we all find so much pride in what he's done. It's a big piece for us. How do we help people be successful?
What's his name?
Luca.
Well done, man.
Yeah, he's done incredibly well. We're very proud.
All right. Well, we'll leave it on a high. And thanks so much, Charlotte, for coming on this morning to the Real Estate Breakfast. And congratulations on being the CEO and also acquiring that business in 2022 and the fact that you're around for your mother once again celebrating another birthday.
Indeed. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
If you're a new listener, welcome. We talk to the most knowledgeable real estate experts across Australia every day from 6 a.m.
ANZ are forecasting that housing prices will grow 2.7% this year, but it's quite varied across the capital cities, and those smaller capital cities like Brisbane, Perth and Adelaide are expected to continue outperforming.
Every bank at the start of the year sit down, sort of chew things over, have a look at last year. And for 2025, when you guys did that, was there anything a little bit different maybe from when you sat down at the start of 24?
For us, one of the big shifts has been, one, the fact that rate cuts are likely to come a bit later than what we were thinking early last year, but also, two, that we're not likely to see many rate cuts. So I said before, just 2 25 basis point cuts this year.
We connect you to the best real estate information across Australia. The Real Estate Podcast.